saw on our first presentation tape or whatever, that was all standing. Phase 1, standing. We're going to now move to phase 2 and 3, which is on top and underneath. There's a couple things that are important. One, if you're a coach, it'll make it easier to communicate to your students. But some of these concepts are also important in terms of helping you just think about the way you engage with the ground. Wade Chalice, again, who's just a brilliant guy, a mentor of mine. He's changed a lot of the ways I think about ground wrestling. He has this idea of a clock on the ground. So the person's head is noon, and when they're laying, let's say they're laying belly up, the head's at noon, the feet are 6, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You can also think of it like compasses, like on a clock or on a compass, north, south, east, and west, northeast, all that. It's an easier way to communicate to your guys. Also, if you're coaching, you could just say, watch your 6, watch your, move west, or whatever it is that you want to do. But this clock model is very important, and you'll see, I'm going to reference it when we go through some of the ground positions. The other thing that's important that I think catch wrestling could contribute, you find this a lot also in amateur wrestling as well, folk style wrestling, that this concept of making the guy carry your weight. This is really crucial. So Billy, for example, would yell us all the time, or other guys, to get off their knees. So really, just like when you're standing, only your feet and your toes really primarily are in the mat. It shouldn't change when you're on the ground. Your hands should be on the man, not on the mat, and your knees are off, and most of your weight is either your chest pressing down on the person, but your toes are the only thing really touching the mat. The other thing Billy liked to do, and you might have seen some of this in the standing presentation that we did, that he liked to have the guys react. He liked to force a reaction and then beat them from that reaction. That's a really important principle that we're going to cover. So one other principle that you want to remember is this concept of alternating between being really fat or heavy and floating. So fat or float. When you want to stick the guy, you want to know how to make them bear all your weight. And when you want to transition, you want to be able to take that weight off so you can move. So with that said, let's talk a little bit. We'll talk about positions. One other thing, and you'll see it as we go through this presentation, I want you guys to contemplate moving to neck cranks over chokes and just experiment with it. And of course, your particular dojo is going to have their own kind of rules or politics about that. But by and large, as a rule of thumb, there's, exceptions to everything, but neck cranks are way easier to get than chokes. They're kind of everywhere when you start looking for them. And one other thing, be very careful if you're typically a jiu-jitsu guy of trying to putting your knee near your head, because a good wrestler is going to cradle you if you do that. And we'll talk about and we'll show some of that. Okay, but let's go into the 9 techniques. But I just want you to remember some of those concepts so that when we move through it, you'll know the terminology. One of the guys who's been through our program, Joel Bain, we just kept doing this and we don't have names for anything. He came up with this. He calls it the Catch 9. There are these 9 kind of basic principles or positions, These positions they're more rides, so you want to think of them in a dynamic nature. These are not like just stationary positions. You've got to learn how to ride the guy. But we're going to go over the 9 positions now. So Sam, if you lay down on your back first, and maybe your head towards the camera. So position 1 is head and arm. Now, a lot of you guys have seen this before. Head and arm is a common hold, scarf hold or whatever in judo. We do things a little bit different. Now, I like, just to make sure my position is right, by grabbing my leg here. The important thing is to have this leg going at noon. So remember, his head is noon, his feet are 6. I want my foot going up that way. In case he tries to bridge me that way, go ahead, just bridge up a bit. I could push into this toe and it blocks him from doing that. My other leg is going out at 9 o'clock, if you could see. So if he tries to roll me that way, I can drive off of this leg. Now, one thing that I want you guys to understand, I see a lot of you guys doing this. He can, obviously, the basic things in like, what is that, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu with Horion and Hoist, those old tapes. He's just gonna hook his leg over, okay? Lay it down. If you lay it down, he has a harder time hooking his leg in to counter you. So just keep this down. Remember, it's at 9, this one at midnight. Now, I put this hand here just to make sure my position is right. But ideally, I'm gonna take my hand away. I'm gonna take the point of my elbow. I'm gonna put it right here in this little soft spot in the shoulder. And then I'm gonna lift the head at the same time, okay? Now, I'm gonna seatbelt this arm to me tight and wing down with my elbow. And then I'm gonna lift, again, no hands on the man. On the mat, my hands are on the man. So don't touch the man. Don't touch the mat. Hands on the man, not the mat. So I'm gonna lift my hips very slightly. I seatbelt him, hold his head, and now I lift up my hips. This puts a tremendous amount of weight on him, okay? Now, you can hear him kind of grunt and whistle, and I'll take the weight off. The other thing that you wanna do, because if I lean too far this way, he could bridge me out. Go ahead and bridge. This way, right? Now, I can stop myself, but you can just make your life a lot easier. Drive your head towards your toes. So this way. Now when he tries to bridge, he has nothing. Okay, and when I lift my hips, he really has nothing. Got it? So that's position 1, head and arm. Position 2, I take this leg stays still, this leg goes under. See how I have everything here? I'm gonna cross face his head, and this arm's gonna post on his arm to block him. So position 1, head and arm. Position 2, cross body. And again, I'm off my knees, okay? Making him bear all my weight. This is position 2, cross body. I'm pinning this, okay? The reason is if I saw forward, I can push his arm up and I can take a top wrist lock. If I saw down, it goes down for a double wrist lock, okay? So, cross face here. Now, position 3 is gonna be north-south. How I'm cross facing him here with this elbow, and notice it's straight up and down. It's not like this, it's not like that. I can put all my weight into it. Same with this arm too, so I can pin it. I'm gonna take the pointy part of my hip and I'm gonna replace it. What I'm doing with my elbow, I'm gonna do it with my hip, okay? That's gonna be north-south, position 3. So I come around here and I put my, turn to the side a little bit here. Okay, stop. I'm gonna put my hip bone on his face and my hands, my elbows in his armpits. That's position 3, north-south, okay? The next position, position 4, is gonna be a shin ride. I'm gonna go 180 degrees this way and up on the man. Now, it's different than a mount that you see like in the jiu-jitsu stuff. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna crawl up on him. I keep my shins on his thighs. This way, if I want to stand up, I can just put my toes and I can stand up. Now the thing is, put your legs down flat. The more I walk back, the more pain this causes because I'm putting all my weight through him. It's no fun, okay? So, this is the shin ride. Now I'm gonna fall down into his leg scissors or his guard, as a lot of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people call it. We like to think of this, we do have a name for this one, we call it the Saturday night ride, okay? Because it looks like maybe, hopefully a position you'll get in with your girlfriend on a Saturday night. But for us, the reason we call it that is because in the Jiu-Jitsu world, they think about things differently because they have different strategies, different positions. This is an offensive place for them. But I don't want to be thinking that I'm in a defensive position when I'm on top just because he's got his legs around me, especially with leg locking, right? Because I have all his leg locks.
You know what Billy called it? He called it the body scissors.
Body scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't tell you what Carl called it.
Yeah, they're not.
So anyway, so now I'm in the Saturday night ride. What I want to do to transition out of this is I want to go short. Don't go deep. See how I'm deep and my hand's coming out? I just want my hand to stick out. I'm going behind the grandma of his knee here, okay? Like I'm hitchhiking. This hand's gonna come down. I'm gonna grab, and then my elbows come together like a scissor. I'm putting a lot of pressure here. See how this leg is bent? One thing I want you guys to think about is anytime, this could be the arm or the leg, there is a 90-degree angle. This is just like that tool you get with every shitty IKEA purchase. An Allen wrench or a hex key. I can torque this, use this as a wrench to affect the joint, right? So if his leg straightens out, it's fine. But we're trying to show you the ideal positions. I'm gonna go in short, scissor my hands, and I'm gonna lean my shoulder over the shin to keep it bent so it's harder for him to straighten. Once I do that, I'm very simply gonna come up and then put this knee down and raise this knee and twist and roll him over like that. And see how I'm piking my ass up with the wedge in here? Okay? Okay? Now, from here, I can take it out and I slide. I keep the leg pinned so he can't get it under him to escape. I keep my weight on it. And I crawl up and then I cross face and come to the side. Okay, this is the next position. Rear crossbody with a cross face. This is important, you'll see why in a second, but grab the cross face. When I do grab the cross face, again, I'm gonna tee with Sam, but a lot of you guys like to grab up high, grab low. The reason is, if I grab high, bring your elbow down. I have no strength. If I grab at the elbow, he can't pull it because I have leverage now. Up here, he beats me. Down here, I beat him. Okay, and this is also a setup for a million more moves. Okay, now, I'm gonna let go of this to go to the next position, let the head go, and come around for rear north-south. The only difference is, instead of putting my hip on his face, because he's face down, your ribs, it's like that bread basket, it's the perfect shape of his skull. So when I get here, I just put it in the rib cage there. And again, elbows go into his armpits, okay? And then from rear north-south, I go 180 to rear shin ride here. Okay, so rear shin ride's the exact same. I can stand right up because I haven't put my grapes in. But the second I take my weight off, typically he's gonna come up to all fours. I pivot off this knee, come back down again. Watch. When he comes up to all fours, don't you do it yet. I'm gonna pivot off this knee. This back leg is gonna scoop this ankle. So come on up, pivot and scoop. And then I sit down. Now you can adjust. I wanna get just the shoe in there. I don't wanna see much of the ankle. I sit and I grab and I go deep. I'm going almost like a high crotch. I'm going as deep as I can here and holding it. This will cause you a little discomfort because it's like doing a calf slicer on yourself, but it's gonna cause him way more. Because once I get into this position, I now grab the toe, put the toe in the butthole, and I have a tap, okay? Now, this is called ball and chain. We call it a ball and chain. It's also getting close to the next position. Next position I'm gonna do. Now, for sake of terminology, right now, Sam is what's called high defense, okay? It's kind of like a turtle, but it's more like a tabletop. We call this high defense. Now just sit back into low defense. Okay, so again, high defense, sit back up. If you're the guy on bottom, high defense, you should only be there for a minute or two because this is a very vulnerable position. You're very open for a lot of attacks from this position, the way you're sitting. So you should be trying to stand up probably, or reverse, like switch or something. Low defense, sit back down. This is much better because if I'm wrestling him and I'm behind, I'm trying to drive his weight into his arms. Because if his weight's in his arms, I can attack his face and he can't do much. Because if he tries to block, he'll collapse down to the ground, right? But in low defense, I can do this. He can push back and now he can defend his face. right? He can do wrist control. So if you're the bottom man, you're always trying to push back into low defense and stand up. Anyway, so in the tabletop, high defense. So from high defense, we just did the ball and chain ride. Mind you, if you don't scoop it either, I don't have to do that. I can also, instead of scooping, if I miss it, just bring my leg on top of the shin, okay? And I can go, is this your bad leg?
No, it's fine.
Okay, I can go this way, or I can go this way. Either way. And to make it worse, I just pull on the toe, okay? So you've seen that in, if you watch Josh Barnett versus Dean Lister, he rides Dean that way a lot, you right?
Yeah.
Okay, so high defense. So from ball and chain now, I'm gonna take side ride and top ride. Okay, and these are the last positions of the catch 9. I'm gonna come up, put this already, it's like putting a hook in jiu-jitsu, right? So from here, I step here, and step here. Okay, and I'm pinching like riding a horse. Then I'm gonna put my grape on this leg and kick this leg around at 3 o'clock. So here and here, okay? And this leg's back. This is called a side ride because I'm sideways. His belt line is going the same direction as my spine. His spine and my spine are at a T, like cross, side ride. This is one of our favorite positions to get a lot of different pins and submissions or to finish the match. So again, I've graped there. Now the top ride is similar, except my spine's in line with his, but I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm just gonna stay here. I don't put the second hook in, okay? I only put in the one hook because putting in 2 hooks cuts me off. I'm stuck. So while I may be controlling him, I'm stuck. I can't maneuver as well. With one leg in, I can hit all kinds of different submissions that I can't hit if I put in both hooks. So as catch wrestlers, we only put in one leg. So this is a top ride, and this is a very hard ride. It's a lot of pressure for him. Okay, so my legs are pinching, and I'm putting my weight up over his arms, so you can see his arms are kind of trembling from just the weight, and I'm not a big guy. It's a lot having to do with the pressure of the ride. Okay, so we've got these 9 positions. Head and arm, cross body, north-south, shin ride, Saturday night ride, rear cross body with a cross face, rear north-south, rear shin ride, okay? Then in addition, we also have the top ride and the side ride as well. So those are the 9 basic positions that I want you guys to be able to transition through. Go ahead and lay on your back. This is a great warm-up too for your guys every class, just to get them used to transitioning. So you just start head and arm, cross body, north-south, shin ride, Saturday night ride, flip them over, cross body, cross face, rear north-south, rear shin ride, ball and chain, side ride, top ride. Okay? So from those positions now, we have all those positions. They're going to branch off from each of those positions into different submissions. So mind you, as I go through this presentation, I'm going to take the weight off of Sam, so it's not like an hour of just grinding this poor guy. Ideally, again, I'm holding this like a seatbelt, my hips are up, and I'm like, my head's going this way, and I'm trying to pull his head up, okay? So keep that in mind as I go through and teach this, though. So from head and arm, there's a number of things that you can do. So let's start and see. I showed you how the guy could bridge, so bear hug me, and he's going to bridge me out this way. I'm going to sit my weight that way. See this elbow? I want it to point to the ceiling. Okay, so I'm going to take the cutting bone of my wrist, put it under that. I'm going to go underneath his head, cradle his head and pinch. My arms are going to go like this, okay? And then I'm going to roll forward So here, and I go this way, okay? And I'm trying to get the elbow to go straight up. When I get it pointed straight up, I roll this way and compress it. But I'm bringing his head into it. I'm smashing all this together, okay? So that's one. Now, a lot of times that'll break the grip. So if he breaks the grip, I just slide down. Now look, it's a perfect lever for an arm bar. Nobody's gonna sit, I mean, maybe a white belt will sit here and let you tap him from this, okay? But that's not the point, it's setup. So as I hyperextend it, sure, I could put my knee on it and try, he's gonna roll his hand and it goes right into my knee, into my grandma. Then I grab his head and I pull this knee that way and his head the other way. I pull his head that way and this leg that way, okay? So, again, I pop the arm with my shoulder crank, slide back to the wrist, push here. I don't hold it too hard when he goes up that way. I just take him here. Okay, now, if I have this arm here, I can also come around and grab this arm here. Okay, so now I have the same submission on him and a free hand for MMA or whatever. Okay, right, just a jerk. Whatever you want to do, or you could smother him or whatever you want to do. Okay? Now, the other thing that I can do from this position is, let's say he's there and I get this hand, I'm not cradling the head. I'm going to pretend like I'm going to go to cross body, and I'm going to bring this knee up to his face. Okay? As he starts to push it off with this arm, push. I'm going to swim around here and grab the head. Okay? So, all right?
Yep.
So here, I go here and I push, and as he does that, I come with my armpit as low and as close to his arm and around and grab his head. I take the cutting bone and I try to get to the top of his head, not down here, up here. Clasp my hands, and then I start pulling him this way. It's a neck crank. Okay? All right, I heard that pop.
Yeah.
So, there's a bunch of different submissions you can do from here, but these are some of the kind of easier ones to get when you can sucker the guy in. Okay, so the other thing you can also do is if he starts to push on my face with this hand, like I get this out, I can push this to the side. And I go here, okay, and I start squeezing. Now, one of the defenses, give me your wrist, is they grab their ear, okay, like that to block this judo choke kind of thing. Well, that's even better. I'm going to push with my ear, hold him with my shoulder and my ear together, grab the wrist, and start pulling away for the shoulder lock. It's that same telephone lock. So what's different about us than what you see kind of in the, you're a jiu-jitsu guy, that's the Americana?
Yeah.
Okay, so the top wrist lock, what we call it, or the Americana, in the jiu-jitsu world, what I've seen, and I could be totally wrong because I don't know jiu-jitsu, but they do this paintbrush idea where they lift the elbow and then draw it back, right? Okay, that's fine, and you'll see you're hitting the ground. That's stopping you from getting as much torque on that shoulder joint as you could. What we like to do, and I think why the Japanese call this a telephone lock, is they want it like you're talking on the phone. So the elbow is pointing to the sky. So now the motion is this, and I don't run into the ground, right? So if I can get a wrap on the hand here, all I have to do is just straighten this arm out, right? Instead of this down frame kind of thing. Anyway, so those are submissions from head and arm. We just gave you some ideas on scarf hold, or head and arm as we call it. Now I'm going to show you crossbody crossface. So again, from here, we're going to move here and here, okay? So I showed you how we could take the top wrist lock by sawing the arm up and setting it up here. We can take the double wrist lock, and we'll get into double wrist locks in a minute, but I want to show you some other moves from here. One of them that's absolutely fantastic, you guys have probably heard it called, the scarf hold or sugar hold in pro wrestling. What I want to do to set this up on the guy is I'm first going to block this elbow. I do not want him to bring his elbow into his body. I want to block this elbow here. Okay, so I want to stop that first. Next thing I'm gonna do is come under the head, and let's turn this way just a little bit. I'm gonna block this, and I'm gonna push with my legs to roll him on his side, okay? So I'm gonna come up here. Okay, now, what I see everybody doing wrong, frankly, is they're blocking and their hand is here. Bring your elbow down. I just lost everything. It's the same point I was making earlier about leverage. If I block up by the elbow, I have all the leverage. He can't bring it down at all, okay? The other thing I see is people are trying to like straighten their arm and then come up. You shouldn't be doing that. Put your arm at the elbow, this hand at the elbow, sag down, roll him, and now put this hand on the hip and start like a tourniquet, bringing your ass that way. Okay? That's putting a lot of like Nelson-like pressure on the neck. Okay? So that's the sugar hold. I also want to show you, let's say, just lay all the way down, and I got crossbody, crossface. Let's say I'm going for this, and I'm trying to go for a double wrist lock, and I really don't have it. Don't worry about it. I'm right here for this outside toe hold, okay? So I could be faking for this, or jonesing him and messing with his face, grab this, he thinks I'm going for that, and he's fighting it or whatever, and I can't get it, boom, right here. Now the important thing is I want to push and pull. You know, a lot of our motions are pushing and pulling. So I grab at the far end of the toe, and I put my elbow, and I try to push my elbow through here, and do like a bicep curl. Here, and that. So I'm actually attacking the knee. Again, that Allen wrench, and I'm tweaking it out, okay? So, sugar hold, fake for a double wrist lock, go down here for an outside toe hold. Now, there's also a couple other moves that you can do. We're gonna get into double wrist lock and key lock in a minute. That's gonna be a whole other section because it takes a minute. I want to show you a couple other things. Let's say that I have my hand cradled here. I've got him on a cradle on this side, okay? If I have this here, all I have to do is get my hands together. Get him here, okay? Don't start where you're gonna finish. Start here instead so he doesn't see it coming. Now, once I have my grip nice and good, I'm just gonna slide this in like a windshield wiper across his throat. Here to here. And now, I'm basically levering this way, okay? That's if I'm cradling this side. If I'm cradling on this side, I want to do the opposite. I'm going to cross face. The bottom arm goes on top for maximum leverage. This is important. So I'm going to cross face. I under cradle the far side arm or shoulder here, okay? This creates, I won't put it on his face, this creates a lot of pressure, okay? And if I really want to be mean, I'll cross my wrist like that. And you can see what's happening. I'm using this as a lever, but this is the fulcrum. This is the fulcrum. When I use my legs and my hips to lift this, it pushes this down into his face. This is a really, really rough crank, okay? So again, I can cradle the head, get my hands here, slip up onto the neck, and do that. Or if I'm cradling here, I go here, okay? So just some variations from crossbody. Okay, so say you have a guy who's got really, really good hips and he's a really good jiu-jitsu player, right? And that's something you really always have to be wary of, is how amazing these guys can be with their hips. So let's say that like I'm crossbody, but he bumps me up and he gets a leg in, okay? So go ahead and figure for me. So he's got me here, right? The thing I want to do is I want to clear this arm. Okay, whatever you got to do. I'm going to clear the arm and get to where I'm going to tee with him, okay? Once I do that, I'm going to swim back and do that same neck crank that we were talking about earlier. So he cross bodies me, or he figure fours my leg. I'm going to get past this pummel past that arm, come back, and again, I want my shoulder, see where his shoulder is? I want my shoulder below it, okay? And then I swim back, grab his head, whatever, however you want to get it. But get between the eyebrows and the lips with the cutting bone on the face. Make the ear disappear into the shoulder, and then pull the head back once you do that, okay? The other thing is, and let's turn this way a bit. There you go. So go ahead and lock down my leg. If he gets me like this, okay, you see this a lot in jiu-jitsu where the guy tries to control you. If I can get this toe into the mat and stand up, I'm going to be in a good way. But I got to create distance. If he's holding on to me, I've got to be able to get that distance. Now, I'm going to get this toe in the mat and stand up. Okay? This is called a standing Indian deathlock. I can just push his legs this way for the submission. Okay? So again, he gets a lockdown, put my toe in the mat, I get distance however I can do it, hands on the man, step in, and stand up. Standing Indian deathlock. So these are all counters to a counter, so re-counters from crossbody. Here is, bar none, the bread and butter hold of catch-as-catch-can wrestling, the double wrist lock from the ground. Now, there's a couple tricks to it that you might want to consider. So, first of all, if we're crossbody, again, nobody but like lower level guys are going to just give this to you. So you might have to fight for it. So I grab this and he straightens his arm super, super tight. And I can't get my position from here. I'm done. I might be able to try to do a straight arm or whatever. It's not going to work out for me. Okay, and I tried the toe hold and he knows. So what I'm going to do is I got to get this into position. First thing I'm going to do, I like to grab with my index finger and thumb right at the joint. So the meat of my hand is actually on the back of his hand. Okay, right here. Then straighten your arm hard. When he's locking out, that sweet spot that we were putting the elbow in for the head and arm, I'm going to put this elbow. It just shuts down on 95% of people the entire arm. And in addition, when it shuts down, I can bend this wrist, okay, and crumple the arm into double wrist lock position. Be strong. Okay, now I have the double wrist lock. Okay, but I'm not done. So from double wrist lock, I want to sag back. Again, I don't want to be cutting myself off with the earth. So I'm going to sag back and make it like a shark fin. So he's on his side. Then I want to take out all the slack in this shoulder, okay, by simply putting my knee on his ear. See, I haven't even started cranking, and that creates so much pressure. Notice I took my foot off the mat, because you'll be lazy if you don't. Just take your foot off the mat, okay? You have way more range of motion. You can really get it the way you want it. So my foot comes up, and I push the head down, okay? Now, assuming I had that, but it's already tight, when I do it, I don't want to move it up his back. I want to move it away. This is why we want to roll him to the side, and I don't cut myself off with the earth. So here, and push it away. Push it that way. When you have it right, it's only a matter of inches to get the actual submission. It shouldn't have a whole lot of play. Now, one other thing you want to consider with the double wrist lock, let's say he grabs his shorts. So just grab your shorts. When somebody grabs their clothes to block it, there's a lot of things you can do, but these are two really easy basic things you can do. The first thing is that I'm here and I can't get it away. Stop pulling towards his strength. Pull the hand off the shorts. This way he can hold the shorts. But if I go that way, it comes right off the shorts. And now I can lay it back down. That's one, okay? And let's scoot this way just a bit here. You know what I'm saying? If I grab clothes, I'm strong this way. But if I go this way, it pops right out. So pull it that way. The other thing you can do, grab your shorts. So he's there. I'm going to take my arm, and I'm going to come under and right in the grandma, short, not deep, to put the cutting bone in my wrist. while I have this here, I go in here and hitchhike, like I'm hitchhiking towards the camera, towards 3 o'clock. I hold that, okay? Now when I do that, I'm gonna move this thumb off, and what I'm doing with this hand, I'm gonna do with this grandma, part of my elbow. Thumb off, into the grandma, grab my own shoulder, switch my direction, go under and grab his lat or his trap, okay? Now, from here, a lot of guys, this is really uncomfortable. A lot of lower level guys will tap, but we're not done. This is really not the actual move. So once I'm here, I'm gonna pike up on my toes and come over on this side, the 3 o'clock side of his head, and sit through, okay? Now, I have the key lock, okay? Now this is actually, I'm doing it to get the submission, but you could do this to get the pin as well. You take the key lock and you just put all your weight on this shoulder to where both shoulders stay down. Okay, so the double wrist lock is an incredible maneuver. Once you start looking for it, it's like one of those philosophical phrases, you'll find whatever you're looking for. It's freaking everywhere once you start actually looking for this hold. So again, this is the double wrist lock from the crossbody with the short arm scissor.